In years.
All right, okay, all right. We lie. So okay, so you saying college football is getting ruined because these college players want more money, right?
Well, I don't think it's about them one more. It's about the way they it's about their approach of it, the way they do it. Just for instance, just go to the Tennessee guy.
Okay.
You know, I was watching some different news outlets about talking about stuff, and they were saying, these kids don't have agents. They have most time it be family members or somebody close to them representing them, trying to tell them how to get the money, this and that, and and it was a bad business decision. Somebody probably gonna pick the kid up, but
Okay.
I think you got to have balance in it. It got to be some kind of stipulations in it.
So let's get some understanding behind what happened. So from what you know, what happened? I'm gonna tell you what I know what happened. So we talking about the Nico kid that left Tennessee, and
not on his own terms though. Not on his own terms.
Yeah, not on his own terms.
Yeah,
but so,
I like what the coach done do.
From your side of the fence, what you see?
You say what I know from what?
From your side of the fence, how you view this? Like what happened from what you see from what you got from the media?
I see what I see it from my side. It's like you got entitlement kids. Yeah, you can close it.
So you
got a lot of kids that got entitlement issues.
Okay, so Promo was saying he already negotiated a deal. Once he negotiated that deal, he should have stuck with that deal. He can't come back to the table and try to get no more money, right?
Yeah, I feel like that.
All right, so if that's the case, now you got to understand these schools and stuff. They negotiate deals all the time. They negotiate probably over 50 deals a year.
Not the school. Not the school. Not the school now.
Well, what you mean? Because the school got a bunch of coaches on their staff.
It's the boosters.
Well,
It's different businesses that negotiate these contracts. The school I don't think the school be tied into this now.
No, they have something to do with it. They have something to do with it because like they supposed to contact him after like January or something, and they never contacted him. So the boosters didn't just call him because the coaches was like, no, we ain't gonna do it. So the boosters and the coaches working together. So the boosters couldn't just reach out to him and talk to him until they got to go coaches. And the school can't do nothing unless they get to go ahead from the dean and all that kind of stuff. So it's all them tied in together before they can do these deals, right?
I ain't gonna say yeah or no, but from my understanding, I thought the schools kind of have to stay away and kind of let the boosters deal with it.
No, because you remember what happened. You remember what happened when Florida, when they kind of stayed out of it, and that one booster was doing it. And once the booster found out that he wasn't going to be able to write this stuff off, he pulled out. So once that happened, a lot of these schools started saying, hold on, we got to get control of this stuff because it makes Florida look bad if these boosters pull out. So a lot of these schools started to try to get control of this stuff so these boosters can't pull out and not pay these kids and make the school look bad. Because they're going to say Florida didn't pay them. They ain't going to say James Brown didn't pay them. They're going to say Florida didn't pay them, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I think the kid tried to sue Florida.
Exactly.
From my understanding.
So,
but that same kid we talking about, not trying to change the subject too much, but that same kid now went to Arizona, then he went somewhere else. He came to Georgia. Now he went to Arizona, then he came to Georgia. Now he transferred out of Georgia. The same kid.
Yeah, but like he's getting ill-advised. That same kid, daddy was stealing money from that kid. When that kid had a deal on the table from Miami.
See, and that's where I kind of see the problem at, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and me and the guys at the job had a discussion. We had a discussion about 2 weeks ago, and the guy was saying, man, you can't be saying that about kids and stuff, on the internet is this and that. I said, but it's kind of a two-way street, People like to advertise their kids on the internet about how they doing good. But as soon as they hit that wall, then everybody want to have sympathy for them. I ain't saying just trash the kid, but what I'm saying is
It's a talking point.
If you put your child on the internet on a consistent basis, saying they going to these passing camp, you know, the 707. See, 707 is just, to me, right? These 707s,
It's like
and a lot of them ain't. Yeah, you know, some of them ain't got no connections to nothing. They just really taking the kids' money. That's just my opinion. You know, so it is, if you put your child on the internet glorifying everything they doing, right?
All right.
It's consequence behind it. And I feel like if you praise your child that much, and then when they don't meet to the standard, guess what? They deserve it. Just like you praise them, people,
yeah, just like the situation with the LSU kids. With the LSU kid that took his life the other day while he was getting, they said, I heard he was getting chased by the police yesterday after he was already in trouble for a homicide when he ran a man over in the car. So but like people like, man, y'all get a family some respect. But this kid was out here doing a lot. He was doing a lot. So now y'all don't want us to talk about it, but the kid was out here doing the most. If he would not have been doing the most, we would have just been talking about him going in the draft. But since he was doing all this other stuff, now we can talk about that, just like how we can talk about him being the number 3 wide receiver going into the draft.
I think that's kind of a different situation when I say that. Different situation. I say that from a child that kid itself. Actually, it's been 13 years today. Died from suicide. You know about the situation.
I know about it.
I think it is. You have to understand that it's 2 ways to look at it. And I look at it from a perspective of what I see people say. I look at it from a perspective of that's my child, right or wrong. Then I also look at it as I got sympathy for the person that my son killed too. So, but everybody ain't looking at it like that. See, they're just saying, "Oh, no, what's coming?" But see, that's where the world don't turn it to the evil. But you know, it's like the way I look at it. Would you tell this person that in their face about their child? Don't get on the internet and talk about that. You know what I'm saying?
I situation
because the truth of the matter is, you know, until you put in a situation, a lot of time I think people don't understand this. Until you put in that situation, you can't say what you would do.
Now I got you on that, but this is what I'm saying. When I want to talk about that situation, I wasn't talking about the decisions that the kid made. I was talking about the same decision that my homeboy made. That he got a top 5 running back in the country. His son was talking about what kind of cars he want to get when he go to college. He said, "Well, I know what you're not getting. You're not getting a Charger. You ain't getting no Hellcats, none of that. You ain't getting no kind of sports car, and you ain't getting no Tesla." He said, "That's what you're not getting, because all them cars drive fast." And when you know,
but get what?
But hold on. Let me finish the point. When these young kids get cars that drive fast, motorcycles, all that kind of stuff, they're gonna test the limits. And when they test the limits, it takes a half a second for something to go wrong, and they can't rewind the clock. So,
right.
So if I'm gonna talk about it, I ain't gonna talk about the kid per se, what he did wrong. What I'm gonna talk about is when you give these young kids these kind of cars, they're gonna make mistakes. Will they get caught? We don't know, but you can see it every year. It's 1 or 2 dudes on every campus that's getting speeding tickets or having crashes.
Well, that's what I like what Kirby them doing. And they had a situation recently with one of the guys on their team. You know, he got caught reckless driving. With the situation they don't have, he said they're educating the kid. They get kids driving through defensive courses and stuff like that. That's a good thing. Like, they're educating the kids, but some of these kids are not seeing other parts of the world, or just in the United States. You ain't talking about other countries, just going to different parts. So let's say you take a kid from Valdosta, right where I'm at, Valdosta, Georgia, and you send them out to Southern U.S., Southern California, and they ain't never been nowhere. It's a new environment. Every kid don't adjust because, you know, it's almost like letting the wild animal out into society where you know you had him in the cage and then you let him loose. What you think he gonna do?
Exactly,
it's the same thing. So,
exactly.
So I think the thing about it is
with no car with all that horsepower.
I think the thing about it is though it goes to the point of why I applaud a guy like the guy you talking about, because kids daddy need to be telling them that. That's what need to be happening.
Exactly. So
see, we get kids. See, that's when we got to this point where we see it and we talk about it. I was looking at something on CNN and we talk about like these kids like growing up. Why are kids so entitled? Because a lot of parents and just being honest, you got a lot of mamas raising kids without the daddies in a sense, but it's always two sides to every story. So when you look at it from a perspective I'm looking at it is, I got my son legitimized, but everybody ain't gonna do that. But the thing about it too is sometimes if I look at society now, I look at it from even with this like sports right now. You look at it now. For some odd reason, a lot of these women are uneducated about what it takes to get in college and recruiting process and everything, right?
yeah.
But it is we seen it recently where the guy took advantage of people saying he'd get them scholarships to these schools, like he got connections. And that's pretty much what happened. But you see the guys that got their daddies there, that they don't have as many problems as.
Yeah, that same guy reached out to the same guy that told you about that said he wasn't gonna let his son have no sports car. They tried to get him to sign up with that guy. He said nah, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you help me get my son some publicity or whatever?" I like, yeah, I do what I can. Blah blah blah. So yeah, like men look at stuff differently sometimes, and especially men that have been in these situations. Me and this guy paid on the team together. We both had scholarships. Got paid under the table and all that kind of stuff. So we know how things operate. We know the do's and the don'ts, stuff you can say and stuff you can't say. But let me say this, going back to the Nico kid. So what we don't know about the conversation with the Nico kid, he asked them, because he made it to the college playoff last year. He said that money that we drew up, that was for 12 games or 13 games if we made a regular bowl. Now if we can go into the college bowl game and we play multiple games, do I get compensated for that? And it was like, nah. But when a coach go to the playoffs, they get bonuses. They get compensated for that. So why aren't these schools trying to put, because they know they got to do it for coaches? So why aren't they putting in the kids' contract? If you make it to a certain level, you're going to get a bonus.
And this will I feel like I'm going to say this. I'll say this from a perspective where I look at it, right? A lot of time coaches don't pay their dues to get what they get. And you look at what Dion says, and they show how much Dion will save the university, right? And Dion is very adamant about not paying college kids. He said, they get the money, they do, but, you ain't put in the work. A lot of coaches say that, but some coaches shy away from saying it, but it need to be said, right? So what I'm saying is, I ain't gonna never compare what a child that just started his career from a person that sacrificed a lot more and done a lot more. You see what I'm saying?
No, I ain't gonna let you do that, Ken. Cause that dude been playing ball since he was 5 years old. These kids been playing ball for 5 years old. They 18. They don't put 10 plus years in playing ball, hot sweat in that sun, and they ain't got paid. Now it's time for them to get paid. We're gonna shortchange. Look, it's the school when the school go to these bowl games, they getting paid. They finna get paid from the Rose Bowl, all that kind of stuff. They finna get millions of dollars. But the kid can't get nothing.
But see, the school don't get all of it. A lot of it goes, they get some of it. A lot of it goes to the conference. So what I'm saying is, back to how we get to this point, it got to be some things put in place where this don't happen. What I'm saying is, because I look at it as kids try to take advantage of the situation. See, and I look at it, and the way I look at it is kind of like with me working with younger guys on the job. And that's what I be seeing, like, man, these kids, man, something wrong with these kids. Like, you come in, like, it's just a system of entitlement. And then you look at I look at it from this perspective too. It's greed by the parents, man. A lot of time, man, it ain't got nothing to do with the child. It's greed from the parents.
All right, but why we ain't talking about the greed from the NCAA? Because you remember all this money. You know where this money was going last year and the year before last and the year before that, when Ricky Williams and all them boys were playing, when Dion they were playing, where all that money was going in?
Well, let me ask you this. Well, you said where I was going, it was going to the institutions. I'm not saying. I'm not. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying.
They had the court case, right? They just had the court case like 2 years ago where they had to approve some of this stuff. A lot of this money was going to country clubs. To help these folks have nicer country clubs, pretty greens, golf clubs, nice bathrooms, air conditioning, little golf carts they can ride around on. These kids out here getting concussions and everything, and they sending all their extra money they're donated to country clubs for these old rich folks that already got money.
Well, I understand that, but you got to understand this too, though. And you understand this. A lot of people donate money to these institutions. So it ain't like a lot of time is you don't want a kickback. Like that just to be honest. If I look at it, if I was in this situation, I probably would say, yeah, I wouldn't mind a kickback every once in a while. I'm being honest with you. Because to me, all I'm saying is I ain't against kids getting paid. But let's get a system where we ain't got to keep going through this. Because what you doing now is you ruining the game.
How is this ruining the game? How did what did Tennessee do? How did that ruin the game?
You know why? Because what I'm saying is the same thing that I see what they're saying. All you're gonna do is wind up having a bunch of kids lined up and just one school dominating from the NIL money. That's what's gonna happen. No, so do you want to keep seeing? So you want to see one team just keep dominating, or you want to see the talent spread it out?
That's what we seen for a minute with Alabama. That's what we seen for a long time with Notre Dame. That's what we seen for a long time with Michigan. Because you know why? Michigan and Notre Dame, they the ones that start off with these TV deals. They would go on TV every week. So they dominate for a long time. And then once you know them boys paying folks up on the table down here in the South. Once they start doing that, then the SEC took over. And they started winning for a long time. So it's like, but it's cool when they do it, but when we do it, it ain't all. This ain't right.
But it was the system that's in place, right? It was the system that was in place. And Kirby took the system that he learned from under Nick and took it to Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the system that was in place, and it was the same system as it was when we went to school and played. But also had a system different than everybody else on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But who did the kids benefit from the system that was put in place?
Some of them did. Some of them did.
That's what I'm saying. So when you're looking at it from that perspective, is right from that perspective. I'm saying I'm not against kids getting paid, but what I'm saying is it got to be structured to the point where it got to be some rule put in place where we don't keep going through the same thing.
Now, all right, but so tell me this right here. Was Prime wrong for this? Was Coach Prime wrong? Because last time I checked, I think Coach Prime had a 4-year deal with Colorado. And now he just got a new deal 2 years in. He just got a new deal.
Okay.
Because he outperformed. So the freshman quarterback took his team to the playoffs. He outperformed what they thought.
That's what his son was going upcoming junior.
Well, all right. Well, yeah, he shot his first year, so he was like this is his 3rd year in school. All right, I got you. But this is his first year being a starter. So his first year being a starter, he exceeded expectations. So he saw what Beck just got paid. He was like, well, shoot, if I'm doing better than Beck didn't make it to the playoffs last year. I took my team to the playoffs. Now Beck finna get 4. I can't get a little more.
See, but Dion already know he gonna get paid. See, but you got to realize is what Dion do. He ain't doing what the average coach doing. He ain't calling these people out about certain things. He know the hate for his son is because of him. See, and it ain't got nothing really. The hate ain't really about him. Some of him, but some of it is his skin color. Cause it's more about you don't need to be. He should be talking like this. That's how some people look at it.
But what I'm saying, Coach Promo said the guy already had a contract in place. play your contract out. So that means Coach Prime should have just coached his, even though we know they got Coach Prime for a bargain, he should have just coached his contract out and waited and let Colorado make all this money off of his back and just wait and get his re-up money 3 years down the line. Like, why we always gotta wait? They ain't waiting on their money. Their money coming in now.
No. What I'm saying here, right? Okay, let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
If you were running an institution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're a big Colorado fan. Don't say you ain't. You're a big Colorado. I know you is. You've been with Dion since he left when he went to Jackson State. On the business side of it, if you were running an institution, you mean to tell me that with the money Dion done brought in since he been there, that he done bought in now and save the institution where he ain't got to go and recruit visitors. He don't have to get on the plane like Kirby and them and fly to places to see kids. They come to him. Dion tell you he ain't getting on the plane going to see nobody. They want to see me, they got to come to me. You mean to tell me if you was in charge and your revenue doing good at that you wouldn't look out for the man? That's what you telling me.
No, I'm telling you, that's what the status quo do all the time. If they don't have to pay you, they won't. Until you figure out where to get
But see, it's like what Kirby said. I don't think they against paying kids. We just need to have a system. That's what everybody's saying. It ain't that we against getting the kid paid, but it's a system. But see, I think the system is what people saying. Just get a system in place where we ain't got to keep going through this. Every day we looking at, every week is something about kid with NIL or the transport.
You know why they don't want to do a system? Because if they do a system and all these kids gonna make more money, they gonna make more money if they create a system. But they don't want to create no system because they create a system. Now I got to pay you this. If it ain't no system, they can kind of see, well, I don't really know who's supposed to get this money. Well, I'm gonna just put it over here on the side, and once we figure it out, then we'll give it to somebody. When you go back 3 weeks later, that money on the side gone now. You know, because they don't want to pay, bro. That's just what it. Like, you know how much money Reggie Bush made, Vince Young made, Michael Vick made, Coach Prime made when he was at Florida State, Charlie Ward made when he was at Florida State, Ray Lewis did when they was at Miami, Chris Webber did when they was at Fair Five, the Running Rebels. You know how much money they made for those, and them boys didn't get none of that.
So when they played, right? And some people gonna take some backlash about it. I'd rather pay them than pay these jokers these days. At least I know I ain't got to worry about that. What they doing these days.
Man, no. Why?
I would rather pay the oldest guys than these younger guys.
All right, but guess what?
And listen, I know this much. If I go to the game, and the coach get just like these coaches saying. Kirby just had a thing on when he was talking live 3 weeks ago. He's saying that these kids don't want to be coached, and the money got them feeling like they know everything. And I believe that. That's why I say once we have to go watching golf now, I don't want y'all to be mad.
Well, Coach Prime said the same thing. Coach Prime said the same thing. That's why he didn't want to coach in the NFL because they're getting paid.
But see, they just talked about this in the NBA the other day. When Denver coach got paid, they say it's a bad system. They give the players too much control now. I believe that. Players shouldn't have that much control.
So it was fine.
Students shouldn't have that much control.
So it was fine when Scottie Pippen got gypped by the Bulls and was getting peanuts for all them years. That was fine.
Well, you gotta look at this too now. When you saying getting gypped, the revenue wasn't as much as it is now.
Dog, them boys won 6 championships.
Okay,
they got money. They were selling out years on top of years.
But listen to this. Look at this though, and this what a lot of people don't understand. When the older guys talk about it, they say we paved the way. We got better collective bargaining deals for y'all, for it to be better, so y'all wouldn't go through what we went through. So they seen it. And they see, but you had to see it. See, they seen it. That's why they saying these younger guys need to be appreciating them because we the one put everything in place for them.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying is it is the younger people do not appreciate it. No, I don't give a damn what you do. It ain't too much. They still gonna complain about stuff. That's just how they is.
The younger generation don't appreciate it, and the old cats don't appreciate the hard work these players and stuff putting in, because if they can get it or not paying them,
are they actually putting the work in?
No, I'm saying they didn't appreciate when Michael Vick.
Oh, they actually are they actually putting the work in?
When Michael Vick was putting the work in, and when Charlie Ward was putting the work in, and Ward done, they didn't appreciate it because they didn't get them nothing. That
was during that time. That's how it was set up then.
Yeah, because they didn't appreciate them. They didn't care. You ain't gonna get nothing. You finna go out here and do as I say, and we gonna say, student athlete, that's what you deserve. Get you a scholarship. But we ain't gonna hire you to work at my company though. You can't work at my company, but you can come get a nice degree and put on your wall. But I ain't finna hire you.
But it ain't no different what the president's saying right now. The president's pretty much saying that you can be overlooked because of your sex, and he ain't all that about the women and all that. So you really back to the basics. So when you look at it, so what I'm saying is, again, I'm not against players getting paid. I'm against it. Need to be some stipulation, even to the portal. Is we come in with all these stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it over the years. You've seen it. You might not admit it. You've seen it. Guys come out 5-star, but then you put them on the field with some guys just as talented. They don't get what happened. They ain't as good as you thought it was. They got rated by potential, what they can see. But when they get around these other guys that get 5-star, like 5-star, then you compete against 5-stars and 5-stars, what happened? See, now the level of competition on the playing field is even. See, and these younger guys don't want to compete. They just want, they want some handed to them, man.
So tell me this, Prime, in baseball, and baseball, a lot of these players get paid.
Don't compare baseball, because baseball always had their system. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Hold on, dog. Hold on. Baseball been paying their boy for a long time. They ain't been skimmed off the top. Baseball players was getting paid way more money than NFL players, and they was the highest paid players for a long time. They took care of them boys and made sure they were taken care of.
So it goes back again, what I said earlier. That's what Charles Barkley and them saying to the young guys. They took the game from the baseball and made sure everybody else was straight. See, back in the days, you just didn't make the team. It wasn't no G League back in the days. They got a G League now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about baseball, always been structured way different than every. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Recently, this other people tried to come in and get the golfers to do a contract with doing this, but guys, when they weren't willing to do that, they said they weren't leaving the PGA. They didn't want to go deal with other stuff. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't leave it. But see, that's the structure of golf and baseball versus basketball and football.
So
you know why? Because
you don't think it's funny that baseball and golf, that's majority white players, got structure to get paid, but then the two, basketball and football, with the most black players, they can't figure the money out?
No, but what I'm saying is, did you hear what I just said? Baseball players already have been on game by getting paid.
Exactly.
See, so they got the game from the baseball players. See, so the understanding of it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've been taught about it. It just our race wasn't taught about it. So that's the difference, stars.
But yeah, but the owners.
So when you look at it,
Brian, hold on. So the owners, they looking at the other owners. So they know what to do. They know right from wrong. They just don't care. They just gonna do what they're gonna do until they have to pay. And until Ed O'Bannon took him to court about using his name, image, and likeness. And I heard a lot of people mad because we couldn't get no college basketball game. People mad about that. Man, they being greedy. Blah, blah, blah. They ain't being greedy. They want their fair share. But you had to take them to court to get the money. So who really being Who messing the game up? The greedy owners or the players?
You say who messing it up?
Yeah, who really messing it up? The greedy owners that should put something in place for these dudes to get paid, or the players for fighting for what's right?
No, they shouldn't put that in place. Everything in the professional level is worked out through contracts with the Players Association. So when you look at it, go look at it now. Look at it. Look at it. Just look at it. When you look at it, we're going to probably need to Google it. But if I had to say so, 100 to 1, that baseball have more lockouts than any other professional sport. You know why? Because they didn't settle for what them people came to the table with. See, when you settle, that's what happened. And I'll give you a prime example. When in baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
In baseball, did you see anybody kneeling?
I don't remember that.
Okay, but you seen the football player kneel, right?
Yeah.
And what they did to him?
They eventually started finding them.
Okay, why nobody didn't stand up?
I mean, some people did stand up here and there. Some people did.
See, so when you look at it from this perspective is, why nobody watch the NFL All-Star game?
The NFL.
Why are people getting away? Why are people getting away from the NBA All-Star game? Because you know why? They ain't tweeted. They ain't did what baseball did to make it exciting for you to come out here and watch the All-Star game. They're doing the same basic stuff.
No, they have tweeted. They just changed the stuff around this year for the basketball game, and they were talking about how they changed too much. But at the end of the day, Prime, what we talking about is these greedy owners, they gonna make you force their hand. If you don't go get lawyers and stuff, and like a lot of these kids from the hood don't have money for no lawyers. That's why they don't want them to have no money. Because now if you get money, if they have money, now they can actually go hire a lawyer and all this kind of stuff. They don't want you to have no money, so they can do whatever they want to do to you, and you can't say nothing back. That's what they really want. They don't want to empower these kids.
So imagine this. So you don't think a lawyer would take the money on the back end to know a case that he's going to win? They no different from you getting a wreck. A lot of people don't pay the lawyer when they get in the wreck. They get their money on the back end.
Yeah, that's true. But now you're dealing with a wreck, you're dealing with one individual. When you talking about the league, you talking about over 100 different cats. So now it's hard to deal. And even in college, it's even thousands of dudes now you're talking about. Over 100 teams.
So, but that's why I say this, and you always I look at it from, again, when I look at on social media in today's era, you see these women just posting the kid. Then when you sit and listen to the coaches, like, man, she almost got her son out of scholarship. Her son almost didn't get no scholarship because she coming in, don't know how to talk and conduct herself. That's not business sense. See, so that's not business minded. We're not teaching our kids and their parents. See, their parents think they can just go demand something. You can't just do that. See, so it's not educating, but again, I'm not against the players not get paid. Let's get a system in place.
I got you, but this is the part that we leaving out. It's some of them baseball players that daddies were lawyers. It's some of them golf guys that daddies were lawyers. Let me ask you this. Hold on, let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. It's some business owners and it's some lawyers in these circles with their kids, and they said this ain't right. What we gonna do about this? And then they go handle it.
Okay, so me and you had this conversation. And you said this not long ago. So you gonna hold that against them because their parent got money and that child parent don't?
No, what I'm saying is if you got a group of people that have the resources to solve problems.
No, I understand that. But me and you, not long ago, me and you had a conversation about people putting their kids in the right situation financially. Well, if they need something, me and you had that, and you said, it's what you said. Well, you can't fault them. You can't fault them because they got everything lined up. You said that. So now you contradicting yourself. Now you trying to say that you supposed to fault the white people because they got everything lined up when they come to their kids.
I ain't saying you supposed to fault them. I'm saying this is how it goes out. If people got the ability to change something, they will. If some folks don't have the ability to change something, they won't. So right now, but look what's happening. Right now, we got a player that's trying to change something right now because this dude fighting for money because he played an extra game in the playoffs. He's trying to fight for that, but then look what y'all saying. His own community saying he being greedy. He messing up the game. So what y'all want to do? Y'all want to have a lockout? Y'all hold on. You want him to have a lockout and fight for his money, or you want him to say, "Y'all, my lord, yes sir, master, and you said this money good. I'm gonna take my money and be good with sir." What we want?
Hey, listen. Now what's gonna happen is is just what you said. Because one thing we understand about the world is who got the power with the money.
And then look, and Scotty G said something too. I gotta throw this in because Husman Zada talked about this the other day too. Because Husman Zada, the wide receiver that played for the Bengals, and Chad Johnson, they played a tandem back in the day. He know Nico's dad, and the other reason why Nico left is because the Tennessee offense is not. It don't get you ready to play in the pros, and the coach promised him he was going to change some components of the offense so he'll be ready for the pros, and the coach did not do that. So that's another reason why he want to leave. He want to go somewhere where he'll be more pro ready. You look all the quarterbacks that made it from Tennessee that in the league, they not started. So he want to go somewhere where he wanted to stay at Tennessee. If the coach would have changed the offense, the coach said he would. He didn't do it. So he's like, look, man, pay me for my extra game, and what we going to do about this offense? They ain't want to have no conversation, so he jumped in the portal.
Yeah. He jumped in the portal because you talking about the guy from Tennessee?
Yeah.
No, he had no trouble to jump in the portal. Yeah, they said he was stepping away from him.
Yeah, well, he said he was leaving because he was like the offensive scheme wasn't helping him get better for the pros. And he was like, okay, if I'm taking us to extra games, I'm exceeding my contract. How are we gonna compensate me? And they didn't never reach back out to him. So it's just like baseball, dog. You got a lockout.
Yeah, so they stepped away, and then if you ain't paid attention, that's what I'm saying. It's finna get where they gonna get more control than the players think than the players. Because right after this, not even 8 hours later, I call them the gurus of NIL is Miami. Cristobal signed off like saying pretty much like ain't no player finna run nothing when it comes to the NIL. Not when it comes to Miami. That's what they pretty much telling you. You see what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, I just think between that and the portal, it's finna get rough for these kids because you got to think about it, and you talk about this about the money. Look who's getting the money. When you expanded the college NFL, it was a way to make more money. The same thing you talking about making more money. So to be able to control that narrative about how much power you got when it comes to money, the other side got more power, and that's what people need to understand. I ain't saying don't get the money, but as a people, we got to teach our kids how to negotiate too.
Okay, all right.
But when you got people that don't.
So tell me this, Brian. If you his dad, he wanna play in an offense that's gonna get him ready for the league, and he feel like I exceeded my contract and I took them to the playoffs, and that's an additional game y'all trying to make me play. How, as his dad, what you advise him to do?
You say what I would have told him to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I know that, I probably would have never told him to go to Tennessee if I feel like that. You ain't just know that offense was like that. You been seeing that. How long the man been in? The man been about 3 years.
But they started paying him in high school. So they started this deal when he was in high school. So he been getting paid this whole time. So he was locked in with them. He waited his time to play. So they had kids that was there. That was good. He waited. And the coach said he was going to change the offense. And now the coach is not changing the offense.
So what I would tell my child to do? I would tell him to transfer.
So here we go. That's where he at right now.
See, but what I'm saying is, I just don't believe that man told him. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't see him telling. The man been running the offense since he been there. Yeah. So why would I come in and change that? And you know what kind of offense I'm running to the what's called. And I look at it from this perspective, right? I look at it from this perspective. And I told you this. I had a chance to meet Juju Smith, Juju from Carrollton, Georgia.
All right.
Man, very Malibu kid, very humble kid. And my chance to talk to him, and you know, and that's something that Dion bragged about, how he was very humble kid. And you gotta look at it. Juju was a phenomenal quarterback as a freshman in high school.
Yes.
Stats through the roof.
Correct.
But you know what? You don't see Juju doing all that some of these people doing.
But Juju got his money too, though. You know how much money Juju got paid?
But see, what Juju did is too on the other side. This is what Juju done, and this is what a lot of people don't realize. And I found this out when they talk about NIL in high school now in Georgia. Ain't that many kids get paid like that?
Yeah, a lot of them not getting paid.
It's just fabricated to make people think a lot of people, and that's why they always say, like Nick was saying, and these other coaches saying, the first thing kids talk about how much money I can get.
But that's exactly. But you know why? You know why, Prime? Because the schools don't want to put a system in place. You know why the schools don't want to put a system in place? Because now they gotta pay. With this, what they doing now, they acting like they don't know. Or I'll pay you on Tuesday. My money in my back pocket. Oh, I thought I had it in my back pocket.
I don't think that school got to pay, because you know that's one thing that Clemson coach ain't really into. Clemson coach ain't really in that. You know, I think
what Clemson coach is doing? Clemson coaches, he bringing in a lot of kids, because you notice there was a lot of them saying like, dang, Clemson, they kind of turned into a white team now, right? So you know what Dabo said he was going to do? Now, I got this behind the scenes. Dabo said, well, I'm recruiting a lot of these kids that got parents that come from good homes that don't necessarily need the money. So now the money that we do have to pay these kids, we can get the kids that don't have the money a better deal.
Okay. But he ain't letting, he kind of old school like Dion. He ain't letting kids. Because it's just like this. How many schools doing like Dion? Oh, you can't come out here and smoke weed now. That's one of Dion rules. You can't have that. No do-rags. You can get all that. What's called? Dion ain't doing all that. How many schools doing that?
I mean, I don't know how many schools doing it. I know Notre Dame doing it.
See, but Notre Dame is a whole nother. It's they in their own world when it comes to football, because they're not a part of a conference.
Mm-hmm.
They're part of a conference in basketball, and I think baseball, but they might not even be in baseball. I think basketball might be the only conference they in the conference in. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about it, when you look at churches, which is, Notre Dame is considered like a Catholic thing, from my understanding.
Yeah.
So you gonna have the money. That's just looking at the school like Bowser played last year in Tampa. It was a Catholic school.
And hold
up.
Hold on. Hey, y'all, tonight I will be on B Watch show at 8 o'clock, y'all. I will be on Sports Talk with B Watch tonight, y'all. So y'all tune in at 8 o'clock. All right, go ahead, Prime.
Yeah.
Y'all. In case y'all didn't know, the guy that's on the line with me right now, this is our Prime from our hood. My man scored 3 touchdowns in one game, one on the curve, one long, and one slant. Took it to the house. My man could have played quarterback, but they switched to wide receiver because he could do it. He could do it all. And I think the guy that ended up playing quarterback ended up going to the MAC and was MAC freshman of the year, if I'm not mistaken. So we had talent all over the team, but my man Prime, he was the one. I remember one time they were playing basketball in the backyard, and then he was going. We was all playing on a team together, but Prime and this other guy started going against each other, and Prime said, "Hey, I'm gonna show you why I got more trophies than you."
Yeah, man.
We on the court just watching these dudes go at it, man. Like, God dang, but they better enough.
But you know what I'm saying? When I had stuff, like when you look at it, though, T, like for real, man. When you look at it today, like really, when you look at it,
mm-hmm.
I had people like Dion to look up to in the NFL. I mean, in college.
Yeah.
Then when you got to the NFL, like, can we really say that kids really looking up to some of these guys? Like who?
I mean, I think that we don't look up to them because we older than them. But like you see how Bronny James jersey was the highest selling jersey this year. Them little kids look up to Bronny James. They want to be Bronny James, and that's a good person to look up to. He's not a bad kid.
Yeah, you're right.
These kids look up to Shador. They look up to Travis.
And but and I always look at this, right? I always look at this. We talk about the way baseball is lined versus football and basketball and all that. The one thing I want us to stop doing is stop letting your child get on ESPN and just show the struggle.
Yeah.
See, in baseball, you ever notice all the people they do that to is the guys that's from other countries. They don't do that. You ever seen a white boy show here and went through hard times?
Yeah. That's one thing that with Travis Hunter, and he done said it twice. I done seen him do it twice on 2 different shows. He was like, "I'm nothing. I came for nothing. I ain't nothing. Like I wasn't nothing." And I'm just like, we can't keep saying that to ourselves. Like just because you made it in football, now you something. You was always something. You was always something. You don't got to make it. You got to be able to jump high to be something. You got to be able to run fast to be something. But that's what we done got beat down at as a society. So I see why he said that, because I hear a lot of rappers say it in their songs too. So it's just the culture that we done grew up in. But I want that to change too. I cringed every time I hear Travis say that. I cringe.
Yeah, but he'll learn because he got one of the best teachers. It's like watching the mock draft today again. Everybody like they saying. They say Drew Brees, he was too short. He ain't had an arm screen.
Mm-hmm.
You want Shador to go there. You know what I'm saying? But I look at it when we go back to talk about how things are looked and perceived between blacks and whites. It was more about people belittling Dion from the way he helped his kids get where they need to be at. Can you imagine how many more dads did that? I bet off our kids to be.
Yeah, I mean, but
see what they saying that man Dion don't care about his kids. I don't think that's true.
But they done did every dad. Hold on, the only dad I haven't heard them crucify like that is the dad that was a weightlifter, something Brown. John Brown, he was a Olympian. His sons played in the NFL, 3 of them wide receivers, and he changed their last name to Saint Brown. One played for Chicago now, one played for Detroit right now, or one played for Green Bay or something. But I know it was 3 of them. The oldest brother got hurt, and the other 2 youngest ones, I think they still in the league. But LeVar Ball got done like that, and Dion got done like that. And I know he was a tennis guy that had 2 daughters that was playing, and that other guy that had the daughter that was playing basketball and the son that was playing basketball, he got done the same way. So yeah, black dads get done like that.
Did you ever hear them crucify Archie? Did you ever hear them crucify Archie Manning for being there for his boys?
Nope. But they did. They did Venus Williams and Serena Williams dad the same way. So that's gonna happen, bro, because they don't want you in the way, because they want to be able to take advantage of these kids. That's why football players and basketball players don't get paid like the baseball players and the golf guys get paid.
And you always notice anytime they show these stories, right, on ESPN, how guy growed up and guys always saying their mama, right? And the one thing that, and you know this, I try to get guys to understand, man, pay to get your kids legitimized, man. That would solve a lot of problems in the black community. Because sometimes we need somebody to intervene and be the what you call them in the middle of it, man. Too.
I mean,
some women, it ain't just some women, some men, it just messed up.
Yeah.
But if you just imagine if every guy that was going through what I had to go through at one time would pay the money just to get legitimized, well, now both of us got to say so. And in my case, I wound up getting joint custody. Even though the mama was primary, I wound up getting joint. She had the total custody, but I wound up getting joint custody 4 months after the first hearing. So you think about it, if more guys did this, how better off we can be. Because every time I look at it, and you look at it in our society is, right?
No, hold on, Ken. Hold on, Ken. My man, he asked me a question. He said, where did you play college ball at? I want you to explain what happened. So I don't want to say it. I want you to say it from your point of view.
Well, he played at App State, but he wound up going to GMC at first.
No, I'm talking about you. He talking about you. They said, where you played ball at?
Oh, no, I ain't play ball. I was one of the ones that didn't want to listen. I chose to not listen to my mama that was telling me the right thing. I chose to get involved in illegal activity. I chose to sell drugs. I went to federal prison. But the truth of the matter was, I was that guy.
Yeah, look, I remember the day. I remember the day.
They called me prime time when I was in school.
Look,
like he said, go ahead.
I remember the day, and I was outside that Hardee's, and I seen this guy jump over. The dude was scared of him. The dude ran. The dude was so scared of him, he ran behind the counter back there with the cooks. And I seen Ken jump over that counter to go get him. I said, oh, Lord. I said, he ain't going to never play on our football team again. God dang. That's what I said that day in my head. You could, hey.
But the other side of it is, tell them what you used to tell me, man. You need to start hanging around them dudes.
Yep. I tell them, hey, dogs, man, cut it out, bro. Cut it. But I'm going to say that, Ken. You always had some demons or something ever since back in the day. Because I remember when we were walking from 3rd and 4th grade, and that police put you in the back seat of that car because you were fighting everybody on the way home from school. And when I seen boys in the hood and I seen Dope Boy in that damn car, I said, damn, that was my damn friend right there, boy. That boy, hey, you always want to put your hands on somebody. You always had that pent up anger that you had to get out, you know. So it is what it is.
I think the thing about it is a lot of people don't understand is coming from the hood. We growed up. We started off in the hood.
Hold right there. Promo coming in. Hold on. Hey, Promo.
Yo.
You heard me on the live.
Is y'all still on there?
Yeah, I'm gonna merge you in right now.
Is Ken still on there?
Yeah, I'll merge you in.
Yeah.
Hey, Prime.
Yeah.
Yo.
We got promo on Foster.
Hey.
What up?
Hey. I heard this dude talking, and I just had to jump on here and give you your flowers, dog.
I appreciate it, brother.
Like people don't understand. Like me and some of the other guys be talking all the time, like about the guys that we didn't finish with in high school. If we still had all those guys, bro, we'd have won like 4 titles in a row. And you was that guy. Like people don't understand how naturally talented you was, bro.
Yeah.
Quarterback, wide receiver, DB. I mean, you could play any position on the field. That's natural talent. Dog.
Basketball.
You know what I'm saying? We go back play basketball because both of us play both sports.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude was just naturally gifted, man. So I just had to jump on, bro. You know, it's been a long time, man. And
it's been a long time, man.
Yeah, dog. But yeah, you was that dude, dog.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Kenyon Rising. That's my dog, man.
Hey, the other time when I knew something was different, I mean, we were playing hot ball. Some people call it Smith queer. When you throw the ball up in the air, you run or whatever. Ken would throw the ball up in the air and would punching people when he was running. I'm big enough to hit him, but everybody else scared. I'm like, this dude right here, boy. He just got picked up ankle, man.
Yeah, man. It is. You live and learn, though, man. That's why I got a testimony to tell kids, man. That's why when I see kids and I'm biking right off, I try to get kids the real game, man. Like, man, you probably need to start hanging around him, man. Like, he ain't your friend. A friend ain't gonna let you crash out like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, we got and we know this. All of being battles, we don't have a lot of talent, but
yeah,
a lot of talent got wasted because we got sucked to the streets, and they're just being honest. You know, there's a lot of guys that didn't have the grades to go to school, and some guys it just didn't work out for us.
But
you know,
Prime, I'm gonna say this. It's a reason why on the east side of town, bro, we don't have no restaurants. We don't have no stores for real. They done that, so we don't have jobs, we don't have outlets, so you turn to the streets. They done that on purpose, bro. That's the system, bro.
Yeah, man, but at the same time too, man, like in my situation, we weren't poor, so I really didn't have to say it, bro. I just set my chose to do, man.
That's true.
You know, and I God got to understand that, man. You know, you just, man, certain things, man, you got to try to stay away from, man. You know, I just think I only sold drugs. I never ever used drugs, you know. So it just trying to give back, man. When you see kids try to fall to the wayside, and now it's even harder now, man. When I look at stuff and bullying and the way kids are structured in the house now, man, it's just like you got babies having babies. So you know, it's a lot be going on now here, and then it's gangs. Back when we were growing up, it wasn't no gangs, man. We didn't have all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna say this though, right here, bro. We weren't poor, but we weren't well off either. And like one of my homeboys, he put me on game in school. He said he was doing a class, and the professor was talking about like the difference between a neighborhood that's middle class and low class and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the class, he said, "Did anybody learn anything new today?" And my homie raised his hand, and he was like, "Yeah, I learned something new." He said, "What did you learn today?" He said, "I learned I grew up poor." He said, "I never knew I was poor because everybody around him was poor." So we ain't, know what I'm saying? I remember me and my homeboys putting together money to drive to school, dog. We was all putting together our little money to make it to school, and then we had to survive off like $50 for the rest of the semester. Like, that we ain't poor, but we ain't rich either. You know what I'm saying? We right there in the middle where you can go left any day, bro. You trying to take your girl on a date or something, you would do something strange for some change.
Yeah, but see, I think it too is where we was at though, T. When I left from the west side, man, I ain't see folks with food stamps. You know what I'm saying? I ain't see folks walking around with snotty nose and dirty clothes on when I got over there. Yep. You know, it wasn't but what 5 black families in that subdivision over in that area back in time.
That's true.
So when you look at it, I think it ain't about the finances. Sometimes people need to understand this in the black community. We need to get the kids to understand is that they are loved, and I think that's what really needs to be kind of put out there. You know, cause and man, you had this conversation, Taurus. If people didn't know my wife, they would never know my wife growing up in the projects.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? But we don't talk about people like her enough because we talking about the ones that fell from the projects.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you look at stuff like that, and it's like the society do, we gravitate to negativity so much that we don't talk about the good stuff. You know, like now everything going on in the world. You turn on the news, you turn on TV now, all thing you see about Trump. That's what you see about Trump. Everything about Trump.
Yeah.
Like it got to be something else we can talk about besides Trump. And then if it ain't about Trump, it's about guys getting into it with LeBron and Stephen A. got into it. It's like Shaq and KD getting into it, the ball. It just, you know, but yeah. You got to change the narrative, man, of what we look. You know, like my wife said, you have to let your kids mimic what they see. And that's I feel like that's a true meaning because, Tar, you know this. I wasn't raised around drugs after we moved from the west side when I was 8 years old. But you know, my uncle was powerful in the game of selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle was big time drug dealers. Mm-hmm. But people don't understand the effect of kids sit back and watching because, you know, you see them saying, man, so, you know, the opportunity presents itself, then they think, you know, you're doing it.
Well, see.
So that's why I say.
Well, it go both ways, Prime, because, you know, I had an uncle that was selling big drugs too. And I remember sitting there, I was at 50. I remember the money counters and the cocaine on the counters and all that kind of stuff. And I remember his brother told him, his brother said, "Hey, man, we need to chill out." They owners. They just bust this house. They bust the other house. And my uncle said, man, I'm a millionaire. They can't touch me. I remember him saying that. Then I remember maybe like 2 months later, I was getting up to go outside the house and feds was all around the house.
Yeah, I remember you came to the house and they been bounced my uncle.
Yeah. So I saw the ups and I saw the lows and I saw his partners that he was hanging out with and I seen them on hard times a year or two later with different color shoes on and stuff. And I was just like, I see the back end of that. They don't look too good. You know, I don't think.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know that's what you have to look at your choices about. You know that.
It's like what Ken just said though. Is because like with me, because you know my cousin them, Zach them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't allow me to go that route.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm in sports. They're like, nah, you need to keep doing that. You don't need to be hanging out over here with us.
Yeah, Promo, you got a good heart, but they'll try to rob you. They'll be like, hey, Promo.
But you know, it's a good thing though. You know, that's a good thing though, man. Cause right. You know, like I just wish I would have listened. You know, and I told my wife this. I say I always feel like this. I say nobody else ain't gonna never make me. I feel like I had enough talent to be in the NFL. I truly believe that.
You did.
If not that, I feel like I had enough talent to play baseball because I was good in baseball. Roy Finney, like Roy Finney, a lot of people don't know. Like Roy Finney was a hell of a baseball player.
Oh yeah, I played with him. Him and Kareem Wilson.
Yeah, he wasn't hitting the ball as far as JD Drew was, but when I'm talking about had that range to go get that ball in the hole and throw it and go opposite direction, hit the ball, he was good. You know, his brother get a lot of problems, but to me, his Tricky get a lot of problems, but to me, Roy was a better baseball player than Tricky. That's just my honest opinion.
Hey, your boy too, Jermaine Sampson, man, he was a hell of a basketball player, bro.
Yeah, man. He worked with me now, man. That's what he be talking about, man. He was my power forward at one time. I said, because he went to Georgia Christian. So, man. Hey, man, it's good talking to y'all, man. I'm about to get off this thing, man. Go ahead and talk to my wife there, man.
All right, bro.
Man. Hey, keep it up, bro. Hey, man. It's good. Good hollering at you.
Promo,
hey, man. Y'all take it easy, brother.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Promo, you know we got a show tonight, so I'm about to hit BY's up right now and just make sure we got all the information we need for the night show because I'm going to we cooking tonight.
I'm about to get ready to stop in a few.
All right,
so
I'll be ready.
Hey, right now.
We will be rocking out with BY tonight at 8, and we might go live at 10 after that, y'all. We might go live at 10. I got some stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about the big wide receiver Brown that signed, how that could help us, and some other stuff I've seen. Y'all know I pay attention to stuff. Some other stuff I have seen because I think we earn another big wide receiver. If we get this next big wide receiver, what I'm thinking might happen. Somebody might get red shirted because I think you need to get red shirted. Me and Promo hit on this already before, but we're gonna go on the BY show. And we will go live after the BY show at 10 because we got some stuff we need to talk about.
All
right, y'all. Hey, y'all be safe.
Yeah, he's up.